What's up everybody, guys, here. Welcome back to another video, and today we have my AEW Dynamite 2-year anniversary show review. Once again, it was another amazing episode of AEW Dynamite. Again, AEW continuing to deliver consistently great shows, and this was no exception. And let's not waste time, let's get into it. But before I do actually get into the show itself, I just want to say, could you please leave a like, comment, and subscribe on this video. So the show opened up with the 8-man tag team match between the Super Elite, which was Adam Cole, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, versus the team of Bryan Danielson, Christian Cage, and Jurassic Express. 8 amazing wrestlers in this match. Just shows how stacked the AEW roster is. That 4 of these men are just, or all 8 of these men are just in one match. And then you have like the casino ladder match, which again is stacked later on the show. Just goes to show how deep the roster in AEW is and how fantastic that roster is. Of course, as you'd expect from these 8 men, these 2 teams, fantastic matchup, great work together, some great spots, a lot of dives to the outside at one point. Danielson working well with Luchasaurus, when Luchasaurus kind of like launched him into the dropkick. And the Super Elite do eventually get the win after hitting a 4-man BTE trigger on Jungle Boy. And that led to them picking up the win. Fantastic matchup, really enjoyed this, some great work as I said. And fun way, great way to kick off the 2-year episode of Dynamite. Then we had a CM Punk promo where CM Punk was just basically coming out, talking to the crowd, and then announced that he will be facing Daniel Garcia on Rampage, which I'm looking forward to. It's good to see that Punk is kind of wrestling regularly. He had a match against Hobbs on Rampage a couple of weeks ago. Now he's having another match here against Garcia, and I like how they're not putting Punk straight in there with guys like Kenny or Danielson or Christian, who we've seen in the last match. So they're just like the first names that are a reminder, like, your Moxleys and your Pacs, who he's putting them in there with the younger guys. He's putting them in there with Darby, but he is kind of an established guy in AEW, but and like was a perfect first match back. But then he's gone in there with guys like Daniel Garcia, Will Hobbs. So I really like that and how they're doing this with Punk. They're making you wait for the big matches while you're excited, but you're like still excited to see him wrestle because it's been so long. And then that is also helping elevate your Will Hobbs's, your Daniel Garcia's. And Punk vs Garcia, it's going to be a cracker of a match. It's going to be unbelievable. I cannot wait for that. Also, before I move on, there was a hook, or a Punk Fierce hook sign in the crowd, which made me laugh because we're all hookers here. Hook fans here. Punk versus Hook, that would be an unbelievable match if it ever did happen. And I know, he called out Daniel Garcia, he invited Hook. I'm just saying that sign ain't wrong. Arn Anderson then was kind of outside Cody Rhodes' house burning his suit or something. Then he slapped Cody. I'm loving this Arn Anderson and Cody stuff. I find it very entertaining. Arn has just been on fire for the past 2 weeks with this. I'm very kind of interested to see where this goes. Does it lead to like a heel Cody? Does it lead to Arn turning on Cody and bringing someone in? There's kind of a couple of ways they can go with this, and I'm intrigued to see this. I'm excited to see where they go with this. And then we kind of got a hype video for Bobby Fish versus Sammy Guevara, and then we got the match of course, which I thought was a fantastic match. I loved this match. Bobby just being himself, just doing kicking Sammy. He hit a top rope Falcon Arrow before Sammy got the win with a nasty looking gut to hell, that kind of like Burning Hammer style GTS that he does, where he has him up for like a Burning Hammer and flips him over into a GTS. Sammy got the win over Bobby, and Bobby Fish came out to Red Dragon's theme music. I'll give you a reason, whoa. I won't sing anymore because I'm a terrible singer, but that one that the Red Dragon used in ROH, I marked out for that. And Bobby is all elite. They did post the graphic after the match, So I'm happy to see more Bobby Fish in AEW. When I think of Bobby Fish, I think of him more as a tag team wrestler. I think of him with Kyle O'Reilly. I think of him as a part of a Dragon. So to see him in a big singles match like this, I really enjoyed, and I thought Bobby delivered. And I'm excited to see more of Bobby. And I kind of hope we do see more of Bobby get a bit of a singles role, because as I did mention, to me, whenever I think of Bobby Fish, I first started watching him as Red Dragon alongside Kyle. Of course, they then go to, watching him in Ring of Honor, Peter, and New Japan and stuff as Red Dragon. Then they go to WWE, of course. Then he's in the Undisputed Era, and he was kind of in the tag team match. I can't really think of him being the guy to get big singles matches. Of course, it was always like Cole, O'Reilly, Strong kind of ahead of him. Of course, a lot of that could be down to Bobby found himself injured a lot. So hopefully Bobby can stay fit and kind of go on a bit of a singles run here in AEW. Post-match, American Top Team, of course, Dan Lambert and the Men of the Year and all come out, beat down Sammy. Fuego tries to make the save. He gets beaten down as well. Jericho and Hager come out, run off American Top Team. Dan Lambert gets on the mic. The Philly crowd eat him up. They boo so loud you can barely hear him. Even Jericho said himself that he couldn't hear a word Dan Lambert said, but he accepts. And so basically it's going to be American Top Team and the Men of the Year versus the Inner Circle. It's going to be Junior Dos Santos, former UFC heavyweight champion, teaming up with the Men of the Year, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, with Jorge Masvidal in the corner next week in Miami against the Inner Circle. So I'm guessing that's Jericho, Sammy, and Sammy, and Hager. I said Jericho twice. Very interested to see how Junior Dos Santos does in the ring. There's kind of a mixed history of MMA fighters coming over into the wrestling world. Some have succeeded, some maybe not. I think there's someone like Tom Lawler, someone who has succeeded. Kind of interested to see how Dos Santos looks in ring. Then Tony Khan's big announcement. Tony Schiavone's in the ring with Aubrey Edwards, and they unveil the new TBS Women's Championship. It's basically the TNT title, but for the women, and because they're moving to TBS, it's the TBS title. This is a beautiful looking belt. I love the blue across the bottom where it says champion. I think it's a fantastic looking belt. It basically is like the TNT Championship, but where it says champion, it's in blue, and of course TBS instead of TNT. But I really think this is a nice looking belt, and I'm interested to see how this goes. Adding another kind of like a lower tier belt to the women's division will only help the women's division. It'll give them more time, more exposure, and more feuds that they can run with. So very interested to see how that plays out. Then Darby Allin defeated Nick Comoroto. This was a short match, basically. Before the bell even rang, when Darby was in the corner doing his pose, he dived out onto Comoroto and Marshall. They kind of just... Darby ends up getting the win with the coffin drop for the 3 count. QT then tries to sneak in, hit Sting with the Diamond Cutter, but of course it's Sting. He's been hit with Diamond Cutter way too many times. He just gets up, no sells it like Sting does, and drops him with a Scorpion Dead Drop. Then there's a Dark Order promo backstage where they're basically just saying, instead of one of us trying to be the leader, we'll all make decisions together. And they basically call 5 Ugly and tell him to put the mask on. Dante Martin then cut a promo. This was actually a decent little promo. I haven't really heard Dante speak a lot, so it was good to hear him get some mic time. And he kind of delivered his bit. Basically, he said he wants to challenge someone, got mixed up and challenged. The lights go out. Malachi Black appears behind him. Missed. Fade to Black. I'm not sure what they've called it in AEW yet, but the kick that he does. The lights go out again. Dante is kind of then out on the floor. And Black says the House of Black accepts. So where it looks like we're going to get Malachi Black versus Dante Martin, which sounds on paper like a fantastic matchup in my opinion. Then Ricky Starks promo, basically talking about the FTW Championship. Out came Brian Cage and they kind of brawl a bit. Team Taz come out to the rescue. They pull Starks out And basically, it's just setting up a Philly street fight for the FTW belt on Rampage on Friday. Hikaru Shida then versus Serena Deeb, and I was really looking forward to this match, and it did not disappoint. This match was a absolute classic in my opinion. Big fan of Shida, big fan of Deeb, and they delivered a great match. Nice back and forth action, both women, locking in submission holds, working over each other. A very good technical matchup. Serena Deeb eventually gets the win with the Serenity Lock after working over the knee for the majority of the matchup. And then after the match, grabs the trophy that was going to be presented to Shida if she had won. I believe Jungle Boy got a similar trophy when he was the first man to reach 50 wins. It was basically saying Hikaru Shida, first woman to reach 50 wins. They had the trophy ready in case she won. Of course she didn't. And then Deeb attacked her with the trophy. Kind of turning heel now. Interested to see how heel Serena Deeb goes. Interested to see how this plays out with Shida. Again, of course she'll probably get her 50 wins sometime soon. She's only one win away. But with this attack and after the match, it looks like they're going to continue on with Shida versus Deeb. Which again, after this match, I want to see more. Again, as I've mentioned a lot, in my opinion, these are two of the best women's wrestlers on the planet. So yeah, sign me up for more of this. Maybe that could be a good TBS title feud in the future. And I feel like the TBS title would kind of be similar to the TNT title, but also how the NWA Women's Championship was used. To me, that felt like it was similar to the TNT Championship, where your world title is more focused around one story and stories, like your AEW World Championship, and the NWA Championship was like the TNT Championship, where Serena could just defend it any week against Riho, for example, without really much of a build. It's just a way of getting a match on and getting a title match. So I feel like that TBS title will be used in a similar role to that. So if whenever a champion is crowned, if they do end up with like Shida or Serena as champion and using them in that role, I feel like that could be a good little starter feud for the TBS title. But we'd have to wait and see where they go with that. I know they did have a little like promo of a couple of women talking about the TBS title. I think it was Thunder Rosa, Sky Blue, Ruby, Soho, and Jade Cargill. They're the four that I remember. So I don't know if it's just them four in a tournament or will it be a bigger tournament. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Then there was a backstage assault. Darby Allin was basically walking backstage in the arena, and he got jumped by the I almost called them Inner Circle, the Pinnacle. They were all wearing masks, so you couldn't really see them face, but you knew it was Wardlow, you knew it was Spears, you knew it was FTR, and you knew it was MJF. They basically beat down Darby. Wardlow F10s him onto like a sign in the guardrail that was backstage. So yeah, continuing on there with the MJF Darby feud. Leo Rush then cuts a promo and he basically talks about Dante Martin and says, yeah, if after that Malachi Black feud we lead into a Dante versus Leo feud, or the Black match, if Dante then transitions into a feud with Leo, I'm all for that. I feel like Dante and Leo would have amazing chemistry and do some fantastic work together. So yeah, I'd like to see a bit more of that. Casino Battle Royale or ladder match time. Very fun, enjoyable ladder match. I thought this was a good main event. And as I kind of mentioned in my predictions, you had a lot of side plots which did play out in this. You had your MJ or your Moxley Archer feud. Archer was in the ring dominating. Moxley then came out through the crowd. Archer met with the crowd. They kind of brawled around for a bit. You had Matt Hardy and Orange Cassidy kind of continuing their thing, going after each other, and you had the same thing with Andrade and Pac. And then, of course, as the Joker, you had some cowboy shit as Adam Hangman Page is back, and he did go on to win the Casino ladder match. So happy for this. I'm so happy Page is back. Big Adam Page fan. I've been waiting for this Page versus Kenny title match since they split up as a team. We've known this has been coming for a long time, and I think it is time we get that cowboy some gold around his waist, and very interested to see how that plays out and where that goes. So yeah, very exciting episode of AEW Dynamite. A lot of interesting stuff coming out of this, and a lot of exciting things for the future. And yeah, that is all for this video. If you did enjoy, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.